morning, guys, and welcome to Unique Not Different with me, Shamla. The UN, in partnership with the Rights of Persons with Disability, conducted a multi-function project right here in Trinidad and Tobago. And talking about multi, we have two representatives that is currently in partner with this project. We have Dr. Erica Wheeler, the PAHO representative to TFT, and we have Mrs. Tessa Pascal, the Disability Affairs Specialist at the Ministry of Social Development Disability Affairs Unit. So good morning and thank you for joining me today. And I will start with you, Dr. Wheeler. What is the purpose of this project? And why target Trinidad and Tobago, and who is involved?
Okay, so good morning, Shamla. It's good to see you.
Thank you.
Thanks for the welcome. So yes, why Trinidad and Tobago? What's the main purpose of the project? Well, the main purpose of the project is to encourage and support countries to develop and reform policies, plans, budgets, and most importantly, services that will be in compliance with the Convention for the Rights of People with Disabilities, and of course, the lineup with the Global Sustainable Development Goals. So we want to be able in Trinidad and Tobago to have services that are disability specific, but also mainstream. So when we talk about equity, we are really talking about services that meet people at the point of their need, not equal, which means everybody gets the same service. So we're looking at those specific needs as well as mainstreaming it in throughout the policies of government and organizations. And you ask why Trinidad? Well, that's really great news because 120 countries applied to this multi-partner trust for funding to do this work on implementing the convention, and only 26 countries were chosen. And of those 26 countries, of course, Trinidad and Tobago is one, but we are the only country in the Caribbean that actually got funded to do this. So this multi-partner trust really brings together, it's very special because it brings together the UN, so the UN Resident Coordinator's Office and UNFPA, government, departments, of course, persons with disabilities who are at the center of this, broader civil society as well. So it's really a multi-partner, multi-stakeholder approach. And we are so happy that we were chosen to be the only country in the Caribbean to get this opportunity.
How, in terms of the Pan American Health Organization and the United Nations, what will do these bodies play in this project?
Well, because the convention is an international convention and we are the specialist organization for health, PAHO's role is really a leading role to coordinate and facilitate the implementation of the different activities. But the UN then supports, the UN as a whole, the UN Resident Coordinator's Office supports with the administrative and logistics. But we are really the body that is bringing together all the different organizations, as I said, with the organizations for people with disabilities at the center of it. So all of these stakeholders, we as PAHO, we have a convening role. That is part of our mandate as a member state organization. So because we are a member state organization, we can bring together all this group of people. So that's what we're doing. And it's a two-phase project. So it's not just something that's going to happen today and disappear.
Tessa, how is the disability community involved in this project?
Good morning, Shamla, and good morning, Trinidad and Tobago. Thank you for having me. The PAHO would have said, well, the UNPRP, which is the UN Partnership on the Rights of Persons with Disabilities, would have sent out requests for participation by NGOs and individuals of the community of persons with disabilities. And they responded overwhelmingly. And during the workshop, and the workshop would have taken place over a 9-day period, from the end of May, the 18th of May actually, to the first week in June. And the participation was high. They were involved, and what it did is give you information that you can take back to your NGOs and help them understand how they can effectively advocate for the rights of persons with disabilities. It helped in their capacity building as advocates, as lobbyists for the rights and the needs of persons with disabilities. So far in Trinidad and Tobago, you see a lot of implementation of disability-related services and so forth being led mainly by government. And I believe this program would have given NGOs the ability to understand exactly what the Convention on the Rights of Persons with Disabilities is about, how it should be implemented, and they now have that as a tool in their pocket that they can use to drive the needs, to drive government's services towards being accessible and equitable to persons with disabilities.
Okay, thanks, Tessa. And Dr. Wheeler, in terms of execution, how it is being executed, and this project was funded $100,000. We have to be, I guess, in this time, grateful for this type of funding. What methodology was used to determine where this money go in terms of to properly achieve the objective?
Okay, thanks. That's a really important question, Shamla. So in terms of where the money goes, you know, this is only the first phase of it. And the idea in terms of the methodology was to bring all of the stakeholders together who usually don't speak to each other at the same time in the same place. So the really critical thing about this is that because we had that mixture of several government departments alongside the people with disabilities, and you know, that is really critical because it means they were able to speak to each other and come to an understanding of deciding what the priorities were for people with disabilities. So it wasn't PAHO or the government saying what the priorities are. It's the people with disabilities and, you know, the organizations themselves. So that was the methodology, to bring them together and listen and to learn, as was already said, about the convention itself. So everybody was at the same level. So the convening and the learning together and the intense discussions to come up with this situational analysis, because the situational analysis looks at what the current situation is in Trinidad and Tobago with people with disabilities, the programs, the services, and as Tessie said, who is driving it is usually government. But the idea was that everyone would come together, speak about it, come up with the priorities. And then this first phase, yes, was 100,000 funded. But of course, you know, there's a second phase that's going to go on for 2 more years. So this is not the end of it.
Just last question, and can you answer it in 30 seconds so I can ask Tessa as well? In terms of impact, what do you hope for in terms of the impact once this project is completed and the buy-in in terms of stakeholders such as government and so on?
Well, critical impact is to embed it and to mainstream it across not just government, but the organization for persons with disabilities themselves, and to empower them and give them those tools, the understanding and the voice to be able to lead when they're talking about programs and services for the communities of persons with disabilities.
Tessa, what impact do you hope this project?
Critical impact. Again, like Dr. Wheeler said, you hope that the NGOs are able to lobby and advocate effectively. But additionally, we are looking for a society that, and I'm not reaching as far as the perfect society, but we are looking for a society that is better for persons with disabilities in the future than the one we have today.
Awesome. Guys, I want to say thank you. I really wish you all the best in this project. And upon completion, I would love to have you back in terms of to hear what is the end results of this project and the impact I would hope to achieve is to bridge a gap between the negative and positive statistics of persons with disability not having rights to access and barrier, which is one of the purpose of the project. So guys, thank you so much again. It's a pleasure. And with that being said, everyone, I want to say thank you for tuning in to this week's segment of Unique and Different. Until next week, be good, do good. Bye, guys.
Thanks.